In the late 1920s, a group of brilliant minds gathered in a dusty lab in Copenhagen. Among them stood Niels Bohr and Werner Heisenberg, two of the founding fathers of quantum physics. They were trying to understand the tiniest building blocks of our universe, not stars, not planets, not even atoms, but subatomic particles. And what they discovered would shake the foundation of reality itself. One day, during an experiment known as the double-slit experiment, something extraordinary happened. When they fired electrons through two slits onto a screen, they expected the particles to land in simple patterns. But instead, something strange appeared, an interference pattern, as if the particles were behaving like waves. Confused, they placed a measuring device to observe the electrons. And just like that, the pattern changed. The electrons stopped behaving like waves and started acting like solid particles again. Why? Because they were being watched. This became known as the observer effect, and it revealed something profound. Reality changes depending on whether or not it is being observed. But what if I told you that this principle goes beyond the lab? That your very thoughts, your awareness, your focus, your intentions can shape the reality you experience? That you are not just a passive observer, but an active creator? Let's explore the mystery. The observer effect, in quantum physics, refers to the phenomenon where the mere act of observation alters the behavior of particles being observed. This isn't metaphysical fluff, it's a scientific fact. At the quantum level, particles exist in a state of superposition, meaning they are in multiple places, in multiple states, at once. But the moment we measure them, the superposition collapses into a single, concrete reality. In simpler words, what we observe becomes real. This might sound bizarre, but quantum mechanics is a strange playground. Particles behave differently when you're watching them than when you're not. So, if observing a tiny particle can change its behavior, what happens when we observe our lives? If quantum particles respond to observation, and your mind is the ultimate observer, then your consciousness is not just witnessing reality, it is actively shaping it. This is where science meets mysticism. Many ancient traditions taught that reality is a mirror of your internal state. In the Vedas, it is said, "As is the mind, so is the world." The Hermetic principle states, "The all is mind." And modern mystics like Dr. Joe Dispenza affirm, "Where you place your attention is where you place your energy." The observer effect is a clue that conscious awareness itself may be the architect of the universe. Your attention isn't passive. It's creative. Every moment, life presents you with a field of infinite possibilities. Your thoughts, charged with emotion and belief, act like a spotlight in the darkness. Wherever you shine that spotlight, potential becomes actual. Imagine life as a giant quantum canvas. If you focus on fear, you collapse fear-based outcomes. If you focus on love, you invite love-based experiences. If you focus on lack, you shrink the field of abundance. The universe doesn't give you what you want, it gives you what you consistently observe, expect, and emotionally affirm. You are collapsing the wave of possibility into the particle of experience, with every thought you think. Let's go deeper. Belief is the filter through which observation becomes creation. If a scientist believes a particle will behave a certain way, the experiment may even reflect that belief. This is known as the observer bias in psychology. But it echoes the same quantum principles. Beliefs are subconscious instructions to the universe. They are the silent programs running in your mind, determining what you allow yourself to see and experience. That's why two people can live in the same world and yet inhabit completely different realities. Change your belief, and you change the lens through which you collapse reality. So how can we use this knowledge? 1. Visualization as a creative tool. When you visualize a desired outcome with clarity and emotion, you are mentally observing that reality. You're telling the quantum field, this is what I choose to collapse into existence. 2. Meditation and mindfulness. When you become the calm observer of your thoughts, rather than the reactor, you reclaim your power as a conscious creator. You step out of unconscious patterns and begin to observe yourself into freedom. 3. Affirmations and inner dialogue. What you tell yourself daily becomes the script of your reality. Every I am statement is a quantum command. I am abundant. I am worthy. I am healing. These are not just affirmations. They are activations. This leads us to a profound truth. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are not at the mercy of a random universe. You are the conscious observer, and what you consistently observe, feel, believe, and expect becomes your lived experience. This is not wishful thinking. It's quantum alignment. You are not observing the universe. The universe is observing itself through you. And when you remember this, you become a participant in a sacred dance where thought and form, wave and particle, mind and matter all blend into one divine reality. So the next time you think a thought, pause and ask yourself, am I observing chaos, or am I choosing creation? Because the universe is always listening, and it responds to the observer, to you.